Now listen to me very carefully here. When you talk about Islam, Iran, the Middle East, the present situation, they say, well, yes, but there's verses in the Quran that speak of violence. It's true, the cutting off of arms and limbs and killing everybody that's not submitted to Allah or a believer in Mohammad as prophet. But there's also peaceful verses, and they'll point those out. Muhammad's life is divided into two parts: the tolerant years in Mecca, the aggressive years in Medina. And the Quran reflects those two parts. In Muhammad's life, there was a time when he thought the Jews, the people of the Middle East, the world, would willingly, readily, happily come into the fold and be part of Islam. But when that didn't happen, he changed tactics totally and advocated and himself practiced unbelievable violence and told his followers and taught his followers Muhammad himself was the killer of thousands. Now I say this, Muslims are taught to interpret the Quran through a principle of progressive revelation known as Nasikh, N-A-S-I-K-H. Any quote, any contradiction in the Quran is solved by using the newest revelation. If anyone denies the continuing revelation of Allah to Muhammad, they are denying Islam itself and should die. Close quote. What do you mean? When you read the Quran, there's progressive revelation. The peaceful verses are in the first part. It becomes more and more and more violent. And Islamic Quran imams, scholars, teachers, there's a principle in their faith that says you go through the Quran and you take the progressive revelation, and according to Nasikh, the last revelation always supersedes the first revelation. So when these guys talk on Oprah or whatever and they pull out from the Quran, surah, whatever, and it's from the early part of the Quran and say, see, it talks about peace, you say, yeah, but how do your teachers interpret it? What's going on in the mosques? What's being written in the books? What's the principle of your hermeneutic? How do you really teach your scriptures? And they teach it absolutely according to this important principle. Now see, you take revelation and the next revelation amplifies, modifies, illuminates, is a priority over the previous one. And we don't get it. And people aren't talking about it. We can sit around and make diversity quilts and think happy thoughts. We're all just one great, big, wonderful religion. We all worship God. We're all lovers of peace. We're all just, and make our diversity quilts and think happy thoughts. Or we can charitably commit ourselves to soberly assess the historical and present-day reality of the absolute commitment of Islam to violence, murder, and terror to anyone who rejects their faith.